Hey loves! This is Jennifer Posada, and I'm here to talk to you about something truly incredible today. Energy orgasms. So, let's start with my story, and then I'll tell you about what energy orgasms are and why they might make such a totally mind-blowingly transformational difference in your life. So, I have had a few real game changers in my life. Well, actually, they're kind of countless, the game changers in my life, but I've had some pivotal ones. So my story, for those of you who don't know, is a little bit different in that I didn't really have a spiritual awakening moment because I came into this life remembering. And what I mean by that is I remembered past lives, many of them, and why I had come here. And I remembered that we are all love, and therefore, I remembered self-love, and all of this has carried me through my life in such a beautiful way. I remembered as a child how to work with healing energy and talk to beings and all that kind of stuff. So again, incredible gift in my life. And yet still there have been some really powerful shift points. So one was when I was 6 and I had my tonsils removed. It's a funny moment for spiritual awakening, but as many of you know, there are so many of those types of situations where doors are really opened. And even though I'd been super, super intuitive before that as a tiny, tiny child, things changed at that point. I had my first conscious experience of, in this lifetime, visiting what's typically known as the Akashic Records. I like to call them the inner library. And then there was an experience the first time I went to Egypt where, even though, like I said, I could talk to beings before that, I connected with some of my closest guides for the first time consciously, and it shifted my entire experience of interrelating with other guides and beings. So again, total game changer. And then there are others, but one that also stands out to me is when I started to have energy orgasms. So when I started to have energy orgasms, it was based on exploration I did in my body, which then was based on experiences I had in past lives as a nymph, which were highly, highly masterful beings that lived in very profound pleasure states, and also as a sacredly sexual priestess. And so using the memories of those times, I was exploring really profound pleasure states in my body. And I remember the first time that I had an energy orgasm in this life. And I think the best way to describe it is that it was a little like I imagine it felt for Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz when the tornado drops the house in Oz and suddenly everything's in color. Now, I don't mean to say that, and not to mention that she was in Oz, this totally different magical land, kind of like Alice Finding Wonderland. I don't mean to say that my life before that was black and white at all. I've led an incredibly rich, very powerful, passionate, deeply felt life. Long before that, still, energy orgasms made me feel as if an entirely different level of magic had entered my life. And I think probably many of you have had moments like that or have yearned for moments like that where nothing is ever the same after that, and in a way that makes you feel that there is an entirely different realm of possibility open to you. So I'm going to talk about what an energy orgasm is, but I want to start by saying that I know that sometimes with these things it's like, energy orgasms, is that just one more thing I have to try to attain? Like my light body, or igniting my third eye completely, or, accessing more of my DNA or my brain? Or is it another thing I have to figure out, like multiple orgasms or G-spot orgasms or this or that, or, tantric lovemaking? I gotta tell you, there's a lot of the stuff that I just mentioned that's amazing and can be naturally occurring and doesn't have to be a struggle. But what I've noticed in the world for sure, and in my many, many years of work and teaching, is that a lot of people are at maximum or beyond maximum. Now, I will say, if you're not one of those people and things are flowing along, things are really groovy in your life and you're really connected to your body and everything's unfolding so beautifully, great. There's still so much here for you, because this can only be taken to deeper and deeper levels. And because if there's any area of your life that you feel hasn't fully blossomed, or that you wish would, it's ever blossoming, all of it, or that you'd like to extend that into, you can as you learn this. But many, many people I encounter in the world and in my work are at maximum or completely blown out. And even the idea of sexual desire or sexual pleasure or any kind of pleasure is, I won't say that with most of the people I work with that it's completely out of the picture, but it's on the back burner because survival's right up front. And not survival just like the way that some previous generations kind of might have felt that they had to just live on the edge even if they weren't on the edge. Most of the people that I'm encountering, they really are on the edge. It really takes everything that they have to just get through the day and pull off what they can. And in those cases, something like, oh, have energy orgasms, they're fabulous, almost feels, I won't say like a slap in the face. Some of you are like, but it feels like I don't have room on my to-do list. And so it just kind of hurts or is challenging for me to think of that. And, if any of you are in chronic pain, you might think, I don't even have close to the room to try to think about wonderful, spontaneously occurring orgasms, right? But I would actually say that in those situations, it's all the more useful and powerful. And luckily, I can provide a simple framework for approaching this, because all of those are the types of moments where we need more vitality, energy, life force, support, connectedness, inspiration, creativity, magnetism, and so much more. Those are the moments. And this energy that we tap into, this is the vitality and the vital life force that we were born to be able to live with and live from and access. So it's unfortunate that in our current world, it's not understood almost at all and not prioritized. But we can learn, and really, of course, just like I was remembering what I knew from past lives, we're just remembering what we already know. And if we think that no matter where we are in our lives and what's going on, there could be room for this, one step at a time, and that it could be amazingly healing and revitalizing and regenerating, then we think, okay, there's hope, right? So again, even if we're doing fantastically, it's great that there's, even more realms to explore. But if we're not, this is something that instead of like, oh, well, I'll look at energy orgasms when I have my libido back, or when I'm in a better place in my partnership, or when I meet someone, it's like, this is the moment. This is a gift to yourself that is infinite in its blessings, really. The only time it's not the moment would be if it doesn't feel right to you. Always, always, with everything I teach, this is all about what feels right to you. So sometimes you might have like resistance or hesitancy, but there's also somewhere inside where it does feel right, and you know that it's about just kind of getting over a small speed bump of hesitation, And other times it's just a no. And trust that. There could be another time that this is right for you, or something totally different that would bring you more vitality. But outside of that, there's no better time than right now, outside of those situations. So let me see. I guess I wanted to add briefly that, I'm a perfect example because I am really going through the most intense possible phase in having Lyme disease, which I've had pretty much my whole life and am just undergoing treatment for now. But I know all about pain. I know a lot about pain. Let's not say I know all about pain, but I think you get my gist. And the fact that I've been able to stay connected to my vitality, my sexual energy, my libido, and use this as a healing tool while I go through this, that's a beautiful testimony to the fact that it doesn't have to just be when you feel like you've obtained some, celestial level of understanding and you no longer have any, whatever. I think because things like self-worth come in, we may think that maybe we don't deserve that level of, and this isn't the story for everybody. It can come up here and there, or even just kind of subconsciously, like, well, I couldn't just have all the celestial bliss, let's say, that is my birthright as a soul and a being, while I'm so irritable at my kids, or while I'm, obviously just stuck in this rut or whatever else. And yet, again, those are the moments where this could be what greases the wheels or what shifts everything. And most people I know as well, many people that I know, we're kind of tired of spinning our wheels, many people. It's like, I've been doing all this inner work and all this inner work, and it seems to just repeat and repeat. I know not everybody's there, but it can happen that way. And we do want something radical, and that is why we go to the workshops or we sign up for something. We're looking for something that is that game changer, right? That it's not exactly like we're looking for the fountain of youth, because it's not all about idealizing youth. But when we think of youth in our terms right now as vitality and the energy that a lot of people tell us just is going to go away the older you get, that's sad. And it's not at all how we were designed. It's just that as life goes on, we tend to shut down more and more. I mean, when you're little, if you had even just a little bit of freedom, you could explore and play, and you were in touch with that vitality more. You might have been outdoors more. There's all these things that were more open. And then, you get told, you may have gone through trauma as a child, or you get told to sit still in class and pay attention to stuff you don't care about. I mean, there's all this stuff that happens. Then you got to choose a path and make a living. And so a lot of things can happen, and we can shift that. We know there's somewhere inside where we know that there is some kind of fountain of vitality. And we want it so much, but we may have been searching for it for so long, or it may seem elusive, like, oh, I felt it, and then, oh, I don't feel anything for a year or more than that, right? Or where is it when I really need it? And but we feel that it's there, and it is. We may know this consciously or we may not, but it is inside of us, and it is there. So it is a beautiful, brave, and incredibly fruitful journey reaccessing that. Okay. Energy orgasm is a very large term. It's a term for many potential ways of having an orgasm. So the best way I like to describe it is that it's a non-traditional orgasm. Typically, what it means to have an energy orgasm is that it's just not you touching your genitals or someone else touching your genitals, or penetrative sex or other kinds of sex that we would associate with having a climax, right? Or orgasm. An energy orgasm could be an orgasm that comes from breathing or doing yoga, or it could involve some touch, but maybe it's touching an arm or a nipple, or maybe you have it during kissing. So sometimes I call energy orgasms like hands-free orgasms to help people visualize that, but there could be hands involved, right? And then once you're able to have energy orgasms, you can enhance any, what we'd think of as overt sexual contact that may or may not involve some genitals, and make those experiences even more vivid and rich. And not only that, but energy orgasms can make anything more vivid or rich. They can help you more deeply saturate yourself in the beauty of nature and have a more powerful communion with your sense of self and the universe. They can make a piece of beautiful music that much more beautiful. I brought this pomegranate because, I don't know, I just wanted to have something. That's the power of symbolism and pleasure. I know that in the metaphysical or New Age, we tend to think out here, and I think that's changing, and that's wonderful. It's something I've been talking about many of us have been for a long time to right here, right in the body. This is a path we once knew so well as an ecstatic path. Anyway, if I wanted to have an orgasm eating this pomegranate or even just looking at it, I absolutely could. And as you get more comfortable with it, you could have an orgasm without any pomegranate, without any outside symbol. Not that those are better or not as good. Another thing I love about energy orgasms, although I guess I haven't finished defining them, I think you get the idea. Another thing I love about them is that they open up doors of a great deal of healing. So if sexuality, which, I mean, for nearly 100% of us, we've either had an outright experience of violation or more than one, or been exposed to ideas that felt sex negative, at least, or shaming, maybe. We have some shaming memories. So for any of us that have had that experience, and even for those of us who have been through brutal experiences or who have had injuries that have impacted our level of sensation, or people who have experienced female genital mutilation or nerve damage or anything like that, you can learn to have orgasms. So you could learn to have orgasms even if you felt that that was not a possibility for you prior to that. Because of something like nerve damage or pain, you could learn to have an orgasm having your arm stroked, right? Or just working with breath. And so it can literally return orgasmic possibility. It can also help someone who feels that they're having challenges having orgasms at all. Either they never feel like they've been able to, or they're not sure, or they used to have great orgasms and now they're just not very anymore, right? It can really help for people that may have, and this can be caused by many different things, but orgasms and then they feel kind of drained afterwards or not very good. So the potential for healing, because the other piece I was going to go into then is the emotional trauma. And so there's physical or emotional trauma potential here for healing, to really be able to finally move through and shed some of those experiences, and in an honoring way, not because like they're ooh icky bad, right, but in a holistic way where we just have moved through and found some really powerful healing there. And this is not a push, and it's not a shove, and like I said, it's not some new bar to reach. It's like a beautiful passageway that gently opens in front of you and beckons. And if you feel that call, you lean in and it feels natural. So learning to have energy orgasms does not have to take forever and doesn't require, like a month-long training or anything. Although the more support and information you get can be the better, depending on your journey or how deep you want to go. But I am teaching a very succinct but very potent course called the Energy Orgasm course. And the neat thing is it's online. It is audio recordings you can download, keep, listen to now, listen to in 5 years, sign up for it now, sign up in 5 years, 10 years, whatever you want. It's there. And it's 3 audio recordings plus a Q&A recording. So probably about 5 hours of content or so, plus some other great goodies that go along with it. And the other awesome thing about it is that it is a pay what you want course. And I did that with one of my other courses so far as well. And that's just such a beautiful thing because it makes it available to virtually anybody. And I even say on the website, if you don't have $1 or a bank account or credit card or whatever, send me an email, because I want everybody to be able to have this information. The fact that this could create an amazing healing revolution on the planet at a time where a sexual healing revolution is needed, to my mind, more than anything else, because of how it would create healing for the body, for the heart, for the psyche, and what kinds of gifts it could bring forward from people to feel that healed and vital on the planet. Just looking at my pomegranate and feeling happy because I think, another reason I brought it is because it's such a symbol of the goddess, and The traditions of the goddess, while no more important or better than other traditions, are, however, some of the most powerfully needed again right now on the planet. And this deeply comes from the tradition of the goddess and is available for all genders. So we've all got the goddess inside. So what else did I want to say? There's a link down below, and it's going to link you right to the page for the Energy Orgasm course. And then on that page, if you scroll down, there is a 15-minute recording called What Are Energy Orgasms and Why Do They Matter? And that 15-minute recording goes a little bit more into different variations on energy orgasms, and it also goes a little bit more into, why they're so powerful and how they can create change in your life. So I know sometimes we get overwhelmed. We get overwhelmed by too many practices, too many options. And then also when there's something we feel like we have to take half an hour out of our day for every single day, sometimes that is crucially helpful and really amazing. But finding something that we can incorporate seamlessly into our lives that will begin to benefit us in such a powerful way so quickly, those gifts are so priceless right now because we don't feel the same need to sort of put them off. We can just bring them right in. So I made this course as accessible, available as I possibly could, available over the long term, available right now. And I can't imagine a more beautiful gift that I could offer at this moment. And I'm so excited to hear feedback from so many more of you. I've taught about this in other courses, but this is directly about this approach to having energy orgasms. I'm so excited to hear from more of you over the years and over even the next few months. So I hope this information has been helpful. And if you like it, you're going to love my website. You're going to love my writings. You're going to love all my other videos. And you can find all of that at jenniferposada.com. You'll see it at the end of this video. You'll see a link, and the link is below as well. And you're definitely going to want to get on my email list because that's where I send the best stuff. And I promise never to overburden your email box or make it so that it's hard to unsubscribe. You get choices. I'll make sure. And I'm just going to send you all the best stuff that I have. So I hope you have a beautiful, maybe even orgasmic day, and I love you all.